Okay, next three modules, guys, is about stock counts. Now I'm going to split these down into three different modules for you. One for how to print off a stock sheet ready for you to start counting. One to how to enter the stock count that you've just completed. And then a final video on how to then close your stock. Okay, so this video is about how to print off a stock sheet. So to do that, come to stock management. Directly underneath stock management, you'll then see this one here, stock count. We're going to click on that one there. So to print out this stock count, what we're going to do is we're going to come to just on the bottom right hand side here, and it says print stock count by template, just underneath. So I'm going to click on that. It's then going to come up with almost like a reporting function here. Now what we're going to do is where it says template ID here, we're going to press search and we're going to enter the stock count Feb 2026. Now the name of that will change month to month because I update these on a monthly basis as and when we get new ingredients come through. So it may say stock count March 2026 so that you know that you're up to date with the most current stock count. So we're going to insert the selected stock count. And then as I said in the original training, I always advise changing the number of columns from 1 to at least 3 or 4, depending on how many you feel were necessary. And then you press run on that report. That then generates your stock count sheet. Okay, so again, it goes in exactly the same order that you do like your purchasing when you place an order. So it'll have all of your drinks first, then it'll be all of your ambience. So they're all in sections to make counting a little bit easier. The second column here, this is one that's really important to make sure you understand this, okay? So this is the quantity that you're counting that particular line in. So you can see here, mango and passion fruit with green tea, so bubble tea, has actually been repeated twice. The first line is if you're individually counting the number of bubble teas. Okay, so that's handy when you're counting your front fridge, for example. The second line is counting it in 12 each. Okay, so that is counting it in cases. So that's handy when you are counting your cages and what you have in your ambient storage. Okay, so it's really important that you always double check which line that you're entering, because every line will always have 2 different ways of entering that number on. So for example, if I look at this line here, nori sheets, I can count nori as individual pieces of nori, which will take a very long time. Or you've got nori half sheets in 100 each. So a packet of nori, a single plastic packet, it's got 100 pieces of nori in there. If I enter those incorrectly or count those incorrectly on the wrong lines, that's a very big difference. So make sure you're on the right line for what you're trying to add to your stock. So to print this off or to use this via a computer, depending on how you want to do it, you can press this little save button here. It looks like a 3.5-inch floppy disk for those who are old enough to remember them. You click on there, and there's 2 main ones that you're likely going to use. You can either do it as an Excel or as a PDF. Okay, so I'll show you both. So if I click on PDF and I open that file up, this is then a file that is very easy to come to print, and I can print off if I've got access to a printer, and then I can manually use this as a count sheet with a pen and paper. Okay. If that's the way you prefer to do it, that is absolutely fine. Alternatively, you can do it by Excel. So I click on Excel here and open up that file. Okay, so then it brings up an Excel format, and the benefit of Excel is then I can do this via the computer. So if I was doing it on my phone or on the tablet, I can come in and add 111, and then I've got a total of 3, because this one I tend to call as a total column. So think of it as, this is my front fridge, this is my ambient storage, this is my walk-in freezer. So I can go around and go, right, I've got 14 individual, so remember this bit here, I've got 14 individual Milkies in my front fridges. I have 1 case of Milkies, so 1 case, look, 30 in a case, 1 in there. I don't have any in my walk-in freezer, so I have a total of 1 case and 14 individuals. Okay, I can word that in a different way if I wanted to. I could go, right, rather than doing it as a case, I know there's 30 in a case, so I could add 30 to my individuals, and I could say there's 44 in total and remove the case if I wanted to do it that way. It's completely your choice. Just make sure you know that you're recording accurately based on these two numbers. Okay? But so you can do it like that via your phone or via your tablet, whatever you prefer, or you can print it off as well. Okay? So so I'll just go back to the screen. That is how to print your order sheets in advance of your stock counts. Okay, and the stock count is always going to be the last day of every month. So this month is the 31st of January. Next month will be the 28th of February. March will be the 31st, and so on and so on. The stock then has to be closed the following day to enable it to reconcile. So that is how to print off your stock sheets.